It little profits that an idle king by this still hath among these barren crags matched with an aged wife. I meant in dull and equal laws unto a savage race that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me, and alone on shore, and when through scuttling drifts the rainy Hyades vexed the dim sea. I am become an eye, for always roaming with a hungry heart. Much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honoured of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers, far on the ringing plains of windy Troy. I am a part of all that I have met. Yet all experience is an arc wherethrough gleams that untravelled world, whose margin fades forever and forever when I move. How dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rest, unburnished, not shine in use, as though to breathe were life. Life piled on life were all too little, and of one to me little remains. But every hour is saved from that eternal silence, something more, a bringer of new things and violent war, for some 3 suns to store and hoard myself. And this grey spirit yearning and desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond the utmost bound of human thought. This is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the sceptre in the isle, well loved of me, discerning to fulfill this labour by slow prudence to make mild a rugged peoples, and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and the good. Most blameless is he, centred in the sphere of common duties, decent not to fail in offices of tenderness and pay, meet adoration to my household gods. When I am gone, he works his work, I mine. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail, there gloom the dark broad seas. My mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought in thought with me, that ever with a full welcome took the thunder and the sunshine in opposed free hearts, free foreheads. You and I are old. Old age hath yet his honour and his toil. Death closes all, but something ere the end. Some work of noble note may yet be done, not unbecoming men that strove with gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks, the long day wanes, the slow moon climbs, the deep moans round with many voices. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off and sitting well in order smite the sounding furrows, for my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles, whom we knew, though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Oh, Captain, my Captain!
This is the poem Ulysses, and it's from Dead Poets Society. So first off, some background. This means Odysseus. I do not know how to spell his name, but that's okay. And if you remember the Odyssey, it talks he was on a journey away from his family to go to the Trojan War, and then he was trying to get back and he never got back. So this is after he has returned back. So that also explains who the speaker is. So he is the speaker. The to whom, it never really addresses someone specifically, but it does say down here, he mentions his son, Telemachus, and also he just kind of talks about how he's talking to the general public about people who like want to return back from a journey or something, you know, having traveled and everything. Some figurative devices is here. It talks a match with an aged wife. This is kind of like a description. It's a description of his wife. But it's not in like, oh, she's an old. It's a different way of saying that. Here, I will drink life to the lees. It's a apostrophe because there's not an actual indication of a pause. Dim sea is kind of like, it's figurative language. Because the sea can never really be dim, but you cannot really, you know, see it because of the sun. Hungry heart, personification. Here he mentions Troy as in like this the civilization and the city of Troy. So that's a mental image that you can picture. So the ringing plains is actually a sensory image. Here he talks about an untraveled world. And that's kind of like another mental image because not everyone remembers like what the world was like back then because not many, it's about exploration. Here is personification. Because hours cannot really be silent, they just pass. Here, to follow knowledge like a sinking star, simile. And actually, it even continues on to the next line. Centered in the sphere of common duties is a metaphor because someone just kind of takes over duties and they aren't really centered in them. It's more of someone else is actually really doing them. Souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me. This is also kind of like a mental image because you can kind of see where it kind of brings a darkness to it. So a frolic welcome, personification. Lights begin to twinkle from the rocks is also a mental image. Because you can see how like the crystallines and the rocks are kind of sparkling. The long day wanes. It's kind of personification, even though it's the moon that wanes. And here, where it says slow moon climbs. I'm just gonna do that. This is a call to action. He's saying, please come with me. Oopsies. This is the purpose he wants. He wants to continue exploration. Because everything is already taken care of at home, and that's the whole reason why he wanted to get back home. It's because he wanted to, still provide, but everything's already taken care of. So there's no use for him to be at home if everything's already taken care of. Happy Isles is personification. So old days moved heaven and earth, personification. It also talks about like how it differentiates now. So it's a new type of generation and everything. Heroic hearts made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive to seek, to find, and not to yield. So this is kind of like describing himself. Because, he was a hero and he was trying to make his way back home, but the time and the fate of his journey made him weak, but also he was still strong in the way to find his way back home. So how does this poem add to your knowledge? It's always talking about, trying to find your way back home, and not everyone knows where home is, and so people try to find that way and find what they really want to be home.